For the final episode of Season 1 on the Range, I sit down with Ethan Andrews, founder of PARFOUR, a groundbreaking app that's transforming the way golf is played and shared. What started as a FaceTime call with his brother turned into a bold vision, Twitch for golf. In this conversation, Ethan shares how he went from a child golf prodigy to a self-taught technologist, building an app that lets anyone live stream their rounds, connect with a global golf community, and never play alone again. With over 10,000 downloads and counting, PARFOUR is more than a startup. It's a family-driven movement built for the future of the game. Let's jump in. Welcome to The Range, the podcast where we explore the intersection of passion and business in the world of golf. I'm your host, Ari Ratner, and each episode will dive into the stories of the innovators, entrepreneurs, and trailblazers who are transforming the game we love into thriving businesses. Whether you're a golf enthusiast, an inspiring entrepreneur, or just curious about the business behind the sport, you're in the right place. So grab your clubs and join us on The Range as we tee off into the world of golf entrepreneurship. Welcome back to another episode of The Range. I am joined by Ethan Andrews, co-founder of PARFOUR. Ethan and I found each other on LinkedIn, and I'm super excited to get into the details of PARFOUR, the business, how he started it. I like to say in my short time of knowing Ethan, I've learned that he's not only a golf prodigy, but a tech prodigy. So super interested to dive into the details. Proud that Ethan is our 18th episode. And so excited to kind of wrap up season 1 with a conversation about PARFOUR. Ethan, welcome to the show.
Yeah, thanks for having me, man. I appreciate it. Been listening to the show and excited to be the last of the season. So congratulations on 18 shows too. That's freaking awesome.
I appreciate it. It's guests like you that make this fun and enjoyable for not only me, but hopefully the audience as well. So let's jump in. Let's give the audience an introduction to you and PARFOUR.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm Ethan Andrews. I'm the founder behind PARFOUR. PARFOUR is a live streaming golf app. So you can live stream your round from anywhere in the world, all 42,000 golf courses. If we don't have your golf course, we'll add it. We have live scoring with multiple scorecards. So not only does it tell you the hole that you're on, not does it only tell you the yardage with a real-time GPS tracker, we also do club recommendations, weather, so it'll actually show you where the wind is coming from. And we just launched Clips. So it's basically TikTok with inside of PARFOUR, and it's only golf. So you don't have to watch all the cringy dances or anything like that. You can watch just golf content all the time. And we've been around for about 6 months. We have about 10,000 downloads within PARFOUR, and we are truly excited to change the way that golf is played and viewed.
That's awesome. Yeah, I think that last line is super important because, the evolution of the sport is upon us. And, we'll get into that later on down in the conversation and talk about just the power of how things are consumed, content is consumed. And I love the analogy we talked about in our intake call that PARFOUR is Twitch for golf.
Yeah.
And it's an easy,
That's the simplest way to put it.
Yeah, it's an easy way for people to understand it. But before we jump into kind of the details around how you started PARFOUR, let's give the audience a sense of your connection to the sport. I know you picked up the sticks early and had some early success, then paused, and then came back to it. But talk a little bit about your connection to golf.
Yeah, so I've been playing golf since I was 7 years old and grew up actually homeschooled to literally play golf. Played in a ton of USGA tournaments in Georgia. At age 9, I ended up winning the USGA in Georgia at the time. And then, just kind of kept sticking with it, kept wanting to do something for me at the time. And then I think we got to that stage of life where I was like, man, I feel like my parents are pushing me and really shoving this down my throat. Is this what I really want? Lo and behold, I wish I would have kept on to it. But I get to do something now really cool in golf, not just, the pro side, but the tech side. So yeah, I've been playing golf since I was 7. I've gotten my handicap down to now a 6.8. I wish I was scratch. Those are the goals, and I am absolutely blessed and lucky enough to literally go play golf for a living now, but in a different way, in a different atmosphere that I'm not pressured to be winning tournaments. Hopefully,
yeah.
But yeah, I've loved golf my entire life. I have a 3-year-old daughter that she's starting to love golf, and I'm like, how do we start teetering that I'm not going to shove it down your throat, but I really want you to play.
Yeah.
Of it all. My wife just started getting into golf like really like a lot. We go out and we play a ton. We're members over here at the Four Seasons Orlando, and we have access to some of the most beautiful courses all over Orlando, Bay Hill, Lake Nona, and so it's super cool to now live in a space where when we came back, we moved from Atlanta to Orlando 4 years ago. No, excuse me, 5 years ago. And when we came here, it's just like, oh my gosh, I have a golf course every mile from me. But I can also play golf all year round. And there's one day that it's 30 degrees and I'm still going to play golf. It's kind of cool to see, the evolution of like loving it to this isn't my thing to I wish this was my thing to now it's my thing in a different way.
Yeah.
So
Well, I think the ability to stay connected to the sport throughout your life in different ways is really interesting.
yeah.
When you stop playing competitively as a kid, how did you fall into the tech space?
Yeah, so I struggle with severe dyslexia. I probably have never read an entire book in my life. And so that's how bad dyslexia is for me. A lot of people get confused. It's about mixing letters. It's not just about mixing letters, it's about comprehension of what you're reading.
Mm.
And so you can go, multiple pages and be like, I have literally no idea what I just read. I know I read words, but I have no idea what that connection is. So I taught myself a little bit of front end development. I taught myself UI UX. I was like, this is cool. I'm creating something. I'm building something out of nothing. And so I started pouring like, this is what I want to do. This is my passion. It kind of comes full circle too, right? As like what my passion was and now is.
Yeah.
What my passion is and now still is,
Yeah.
and how I'm combining those two things. Like I love golf. Like I'm my own user of my product, and I think that's what makes the passion and the energy and the love for this. I like to really kind of tell people like when we're building PARFOUR, we have a meaning behind everything that we do. And so we're not doing it just for the money. Like, yes, an awesome acquisition or merger of some sort would be amazing in the future, but we're building this because we love this sport and we love tech.
Mm.
So I've been in tech since I was about 17 years old. I've had the pleasure of working at Apple and Google, a ton of Y Combinator startups, helping them build their MVP or was to get off the ground. I was actually employee number 9 at BitPay, which is now one of the largest consumers for merchants of Bitcoin. And so I got to help build that entire internal system for them, as well as I helped build the entire mobile app for Home Depot. And so one of the coolest pieces inside of Home Depot that I worked on specifically was if you go into Home Depot and you say, I'm looking for a hammer, it'll tell you aisle bay 6, bay 12 or whatever. That is all of my design and UX, so user experience behind that. So I found an opportunity where it's kind of cool. It goes into where PARFOUR was created, which was my brother texting me, my little brother Ian texting me and being like, I wish I could just watch you play golf. He's D2 baseball player, has grown up his entire life. He's in the medical field now. He was doing some charting and he was just like, I wish I could watch you play golf. I was like, well, let's FaceTime. So we ended up FaceTiming. And by the time we get home, I'm like, oh my gosh, we could turn this into something. Like, this is cool. That was so much fun. I wasn't playing golf alone. And that's our motto, right? Never play golf alone.
Mm-hmm.
And so you kind of start thinking about all these things where it's, the two things that you love, the golf, the tech, and how do we combine them? And so that's kind of where it has all become full circle now.
It's awesome. And I love how the spark of an idea was generated by, a family member who just wanted to see you play the sport you love.
Yep. And he
it's
caddied for me a lot of my life, and he hated golf.
That's
hated
funny.
golf because he had to caddy for me, right? But now he loves it. I just got him a brand new set of clubs. He got some Mizunos.
Nice.
Shout out Mizuno. That's what I rock. And it's cool to watch my brother love something the way I do. And then my older brother is actually also involved. He's our head of design at PARFOUR. So everything you see visually is him. I'm now kind of I'm taking a step back from like UI UX and I'm like running the business, right? Doing fun things like this, going to play golf with really dope people. So it is a big family affair that is involved in this. And my older brother comes from the head of design at MailChimp. So we got a really, really good team. We've ton of engineers. We'll get into that, but yeah, it's a big family affair, and it's cool to watch my brothers kind of latch onto something that I love, and they see the passion behind that, and their passion is starting to you can see very much come alive. It's like, oh my gosh, this is sick. We're building the future of something that doesn't exist inside this space. So,
well, and I think they'd probably see the impact that it could have just
absolutely.
from, a golfing perspective, but also from a tech perspective and really revolutionizing the sport. So I'm interested to hear how Par4 went from just an idea of FaceTiming on the course to, a full-fledged app that thousands of people are using on a daily basis. So how does one take a spark of an idea and turn it into a business and an app that people can use on a daily basis?
Yeah. So, the hardest part of it all has been fundraising, right? So we've raised right now $1.1 million. We've had some bumps in the road where, all that money has not gone to development. It's gone to other things. And, every company is a massive learning stage. I've been a part of Y Combinator startups. I've been a part of big organizations, but until you actually do this, the amount of stuff that you learn during this process is absolutely insane. And so I think, all the way down to our name, right? People are asking, why Par4? What does it mean? Not only was it cool, a very short name of a brand, but it also really went really well with golf. I think the biggest thing for us is that Par4, like, again, we've thought about every single piece of thing that we've done inside of the app. Par4 is the number one most average hole in a golf course, and a beginner and a pro will play it, right? So it is meant for everybody. And that's the idea behind Par4, is that it is meant for everyone. It is meant for anything golf related. And so we want to embody that as we build this, right? So we're not having people just play on golf courses. We're having people do unboxings, range sessions. We're even about to launch our first ever putt-putt tournament inside of Dobson Ranch in Arizona. And so you'll be able to literally watch a full-on putt-putt tournament, and the leaderboard that has it over I think they're doing it for about a month. So you'll literally be able to see that tournament and go enter. We've joked around like, do we fly someone out there to go and do the putt-putt tournament and make it like a whole thing? So I think that's the cool part, is like Par4 is built for anyone, anything in the golf space. And like I said, the hardest part about all of this is not just the building of it, right? That's very complicated. You're building like you said earlier, a Twitch for golf, but we're building it on our phone. We're not using full computers. We're using literally what everybody has, which is kind of cool because it makes it even more accessible. And so the hardest part has been fundraising, building the tech, but also the saying, build it and they will come, doesn't exist, right? It's hard to sometimes articulate what Par4 can do because we have so much inside of it. I mean, I think even when I showed you the demo videos, I think you started understanding, oh my gosh, like, that's what it looks like. That's what it can do. And it's hard to educate and articulate that because we're a bunch of nerds. We're not marketing experts.
Yeah.
We're focusing on building a really damn good product for our users. And that's what we're passionate about at the end of the day. So yeah, I think that, building a company, building a startup humbles you. And it really makes you look at things differently because we're not just a brand, right? And that's been the hardest thing to also articulate to influencers or creators, is like, we're not just another put this hat on, put this shirt on, talk about us, here's a 10% discount code. Like, we are something that has never existed before inside of the golf space.
Yeah. Yeah. It's interesting because, as you think about the experience on the golf course, oftentimes the phone is left in the cart, or if you're walking, left in your bag. And so there's a bit of a change of habit that Par4 wants and is imploring these golfers to take on. And ultimately, at the end of the day, to your point about never golf alone again, it's opening the opportunity for golfers to share their experience with people all across the world, which has never been done before, for the amateur, for friends and family that just want to peek into the game of golf. Going back to the kind of spark of the idea to raising the money, give me the timeline of when that idea kind of first started to germinate, to when you launched the MVP, to when you raised your first round. Like, how did that process take shape?
Yeah, great question. So we started the idea about a year ago. We didn't start we didn't have an MVP ready until about 6 months after that. So we've only been live for technically 6 months in the App Store.
Got it.
Our first version of the app was trash. Like, I mean, it literally was just a live streaming platform. It had nothing, right? Like, we janked the crap out of it for it to work because we just wanted to see, like, could this work? Could this figure out? We were raising a little bit of money from family and friends. This whole round has been family and friends.
Okay.
Mostly. So our next round will be a seed round, which will then talk to VCs, which we're already in conversations with right now. And so, you know, we went from idea to building it out to MVP, which we launched our MVP at what is called the Golf Gaming Club. And we did that in LA. And these are some of the biggest. It's actually kind of cool. It was like a perfect audience for us. It's some of the biggest Twitch streamers that got into golf during COVID. And so, like, they literally, it was a perfect audience. They knew what we were building.
How'd you?
Off Instagram. So a gentleman named Hung runs the Golf Gaming Club. And it's actually really cool. It's kind of full circle. We're at the best our app has ever been. And we're actually going to play golf with the Golf Gaming Club in Scotland, April 14th.
That's cool.
Yeah. So I get to play some of the most beautiful old courses in the world while with the same group that we launched it with some of the coolest people. And a big shout out to Golf Gaming Club. I mean, I think that what they do is exactly why we're building what we're building and who we're building it for. Is like, it is a specific club for people who want to be able to watch matches, because Golf Gaming Club is all over the United States. Their members are everywhere, and they travel to these events. If they can't be there, how do they watch it? How do they know where they're at? Boom, PARFOUR comes into play.
That's awesome.
So that was our big launch. And then from there, we started listening to our users, right? We're like, we want scorecard. We want integration. We want live shot tracing, which, you know, we don't have, we're working on. Even down to little things like we want zoom, right? And people think that, like, oh, zooming in on a camera, that's easy. It's very, very freaking hard to do when you're building your own app, right? And so it's fun. It's fun to kind of educate people to be like, hey, what you're getting on TikTok was built by thousands of developers. What you're getting on PARFOUR is built by 2 developers.
Yeah.
And so, like, it's super impressive because we're literally keeping up with some of the biggest companies in the world. Our functionality may not be as tuned as theirs, but we're getting it out quick enough. And so, yeah, we have Ashwin and Nicole. They both live in New York, incredible developers. And they're the ones bringing this thing to life.
Awesome.
And it's so cool. And we have a team that they support us and we support them. This isn't a 9 to 5. We don't wake up at 9 o'clock. We're on phone calls sometimes till 11, 12, 1 a.m. in the morning. And we had an offsite a couple weeks ago, and we all stayed at my house. So, again, startup life. They were not crashing at this hotels. We're all mattresses and couches at my house. And he was like, I couldn't sleep. So I sat at the foot of the bed till 3 a.m. coding for clips. So we came up with the idea of clips at the offsite. We built the entire functionality in 72 hours. We rebuilt TikTok in 72 hours.
It's like a hackathon.
It is exactly what it is. Yeah, that's perfect words. It was like a hackathon, but we actually saw the light of this come today. Like, I've been a part of hackathons where it's like, cool, work on this, and then you never hear about it, you never see it. It's like, no, we focused on it, we built it, and it's freaking live in the App Store today, right? So it's really cool. Like, I think the biggest part of going back to the timeline is, like, realizing how important it is to have the right people on board.
Yeah.
If you do not have the right people on board, and we found that out very, very early, it causes massive drift in every single particle of the company. Yeah. Right. So we have a very solid team. We've interviewed so many different, me and Ashwin and the rest of the team and Caleb have interviewed so many people, but it's crazy. Like, the more you think about it, if these people don't fit your team, not only what their capabilities are, that team is going to, like, right now we joke around with each other. We're kind of thankful we don't have HR.
Yeah.
But it's like, it's really cool. Once you have that team, you realize how fast you can move, right? Yeah. And so that has been a really big part of our journey in building a company. Is it's not just how brilliant these people are, it's how well you respect them and they respect you. And being a boss, I mean, like, I don't have to check in with anybody on our team. It's just kind of like, hey, this is what we're working on today. Here's when we're going to get it done by. Let's test it. Let's push it. And this is only going to happen for so long, right? So as we continue to grow, you're going to see a little bit more of structure, and you're going to see meetings
Sure.
and HR and all that stuff. So we're soaking in what we have right now. And we're really focusing on building, like I said, just a really badass product for our users that my mom would want to use it. I would want to use it.
Yeah.
You would want to. It doesn't matter your sex, your age, your type, if you're brand new or if you're seasoned, like that is the goal behind what we're making. And so I think from that timeline, we finally got to a point. We even said the other day, this is the best product we've ever put out. And we kind of say that after every release, but we meant it, right? Like it feels so good to have an app that we are proud of, that we are excited about, that, like you said, we know thousands of users are using. Like that, if that doesn't light a fire into your ass, I don't know what will. Like it's literally the best type of dopamine that you can get when you see all these people going live on your app and using it and being like, oh my gosh, this is so cool. It's like, yes, like that is the satisfaction. I would love to get that. Plus, I would love to get the money so my investors and I are happy. But at the end of the day, it is so cool to build a product that people want to use. They love it and they see the value.
Yeah, and the money wouldn't come if the users aren't there or they're not enjoying the app. I think it's super interesting. You just made a comment that, the team celebrates each new release as it's a great product. And I would imagine that's the goal. Like every time you're releasing new features or new updates, it's to make the app better. So you should celebrate those small wins, and maybe they're not small wins, maybe they're big wins, but celebrating wins along the way, I think is such an important thing for entrepreneurs to do. I'd love to dig back a little into your history and your experience at the Y Combinators, the other startups, and even at brand and company like Home Depot. What have you taken with you from what you've learned in the past that has impacted PARFOUR in a really positive way?
Yeah, it's funny. I'll actually twist the question a little bit. I'll give you things that have impacted us in a negative way and a positive way. Because I think that the big thing about Y Combinator is that you move fast and you move at a pace that is almost uncomfortable, right? And you have to be uncomfortable. There are times. If you look at our brand, if you look at our brand, we've gone through 3 different iterations of our brand already. 3 different types of logos, 3 different types of fonts. We pivot very quickly in PARFOUR and what we're doing. I mean, we launched a feature called tournaments, right? So tournaments allows me to basically create a PGA level style broadcast for any tournament in the world. Could be a charity event, could be a member guest, whatever it may be. We got there because we literally pivoted multiple times about what should we do? How should we handle it? I was literally in chat and I was like, I feel bad because I'm literally like, I'm the captain and I'm helping anchor our team on where we should go. That is my job. And so I think that's the bad that you get out of Y Combinator, which is like, you have to move quick. You have to pivot quick. So it's kind of bad. It's more of just like adapting to really fast change. And there are people who aren't going to be used to that. There are going to be people who aren't comfortable with that. And that's okay, right? But I think the biggest thing I got out of Y Combinator is be resourceful, right? When you don't have something, so we're very transparent and blunt. We all make very, very, very little money. Like under $5,000 a piece, little money. I don't even pay myself right now. And our goal was to get our roadmap the longest runway possible, right? And we have found people who are willing to dive in very deep for very little because they know the outcome could be very big. So I think being resourceful, and that same thing even at a big startup, right? Or a big company, a little startup, big company, you have to be resourceful in everything that you do. And we were kind of joking around about AI before we got on the call. It's like the amount of times we use AI to figure something out or help us understand what we're doing, not solve the problem for us completely, but to point us in the right direction has been so impactful. But that's a resource that we're using to move quick, agile, and still produce a beautiful product. And so I think that, again, just being on your toes, being resourceful, move quick, but again, not quick enough where the CEO's pivoting every other day on what to do, which is like, I got humbled by my team and was like, Ethan, we gotta stop. We gotta stop like switching gears because I see a shiny spoon in front of my face and I'm like, they want that, build it, But I think at the end of the day, as long as you can kind of have, again, that team that is comfortable with reining you in and telling you like, we will get there, but let's focus on the things that matter, that will get us to revenue, that will get us users. And I think that, again, that resourcefulness coming from small startups and big companies have really made that truly impactful for us to move as quick as we have.
Yeah. Let's transition to talk a little more about the app itself. And you talk about, driving revenue. How will PARFOUR drive revenue, and what are the near term features that you are looking to add to make the app even better than it is today?
I love it. Great question. Great question. So our biggest revenue stream is going to be tournaments as well as single play. And what I mean by that is we plan on going to high schools and colleges, and we plan on bringing our product to them so that their parents, their grandparents, their friends are able to watch every single golf tournament with a live leaderboard and live data and stats, right? So there's other apps out there that do this for baseball and other sports, but there's nothing that exists for golf. So parents are willing to pay a lot of money to never miss something or always be supportive, right? It's kind of like back in the day, gosh, I love this movie, Jingle All the Way, right? He's going to his son's karate. He gets pulled over. He doesn't make it. His son is looking for him in the audience, right? And that is kind of what I think this world is entailing for our product, is like, your son or daughter doesn't have to look out in the crowd. They know you're watching, right? They know you're there and supporting when they can't, when they have other, responsibilities or jobs, or they physically just can't be there. That is our biggest revenue stream, is to focus on these tournaments for any type of tournament in that high school and college realm.
That's super smart.
And so we want to focus on that. And that is going to be our next focus over probably the next quarters, to reach out to high schools and colleges and ideas to implement this technology where a volunteer or a parent is the one that's walking around with a eye range or some sort of, holder that allows them to just sit there and watch the kids and play and enter the scores, right? I mean, it's just like any other app that's out there. And it's cool because kind of the parent now gets to be inside the ropes, both physically and visually, when they can't be there, right? They're literally right there where they can send and chat like, awesome shot, little Jimmy, right? So that's the really cool aspect behind tournaments. But we also then plan to go to tournaments where we're in talks with some really big companies to host their tournaments for a bigger visual, appeal to the world and the market that they can't get inside of an Instagram or a TikTok. I kind of want to touch on that too, because that's the biggest question that we get all the time. It's probably our number one question. How are we different from TikTok Live, Instagram Live, and Twitch? And there's a couple things that make us completely different. Number one, we have integrated tools built inside the app. So you select a golf course that you're playing at. As you're playing, the holes change to show your viewers what hole you're on, the par, and the yardage, as well as you can add up to 4 different people on top to basically create a match with inside of your live stream. It'll show their placement, their score, and it'll all update in real time. The other big thing that we offer is the live GPS, where if you go into the woods, if you're in the sand trap, if wherever, you can also give your friends crap for being or hitting that bad shot, right? So you have full chat in there. It tells you when people join your live stream. It tells you when people follow you. We have tools that are built by golfers for golfers to make this experience where you don't have to actually have 2 separate cameras running. You can run just your PARFOUR app. Once you're done with your live stream, it saves to your profile and then you can download it. So you can use that content anywhere. And then the other really cool part that we offer, which is really cool, Busted Jack came on and live streamed in PARFOUR last week. They used what they call as an IRL backpack. So we allow OBS streaming through PARFOUR through the backpack. So they can actually stream on Twitch, YouTube, and PARFOUR all simultaneously. And they don't have to leave what they're already doing. They're just creating a more dynamic, engaging community in PARFOUR who is built for them, right? They don't have to go search for those users. Those users are wanting to watch golf. They're wanting to interact with golf. Yeah. So we are completely different than any other live streaming platform in those instances. But yeah, tournaments is our biggest piece. And then we just launched clips. So we're planning on, like I said, it's TikTok for golf, and it's anything and everything. You can comment, you can you can reply to comments, you can share the clip, and we plan on putting ads in those clips. We plan on also allowing sponsored streams. So in Scotland, we plan on, hopefully, if this feature comes out in time, we plan on doing a sponsored stream by Vice. So Vice has
Cool.
been awesome enough to hook us up with a ton of apparel and golf balls for our Scotland trip. And that tournament or that stream will actually be sponsored by Vice, and it'll have their logos in there. It'll have their ads in there to take you to them. So, and then the last big kind of revenue stream that we're working on now is subscriptions. So you'll be able to subscribe to your favorite creator, your favorite streamer. Once that's done, we'll be able to do private live streams. So if an instructor, a big instructor comes into play, you can be like, hey, subscribe as I teach how to do chipping today, or how I putt, or a famous 1v1 match. The only way you can watch it is if you subscribe to that person, right? So we're creating, again, this environment that allows you to create these like match type styles against Tom Brady and Steph Curry, but you're having it in a way where I feel like I'm actually connected to them one-on-one, right? I can chat to them, I can talk to them. And that's what people want. They want to feel close to the people that they're watching.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, that is our idea. And we have a lot more revenue streams that we're working on, but again, not trying to dangle those shiny spoons in front of my face. One of the cool things is our roadmap. So we'll get to that in a second, but that'll outline a lot of.
Yeah. And I think what's super interesting is, there's the saying, niches get riches, right? And it's like, there are aspects of PARFOUR out there in other services, but they're so broad that the audience, is too many things or too many topics to cover. I think honing in on golf and really, I mean, from my standpoint, two main kind of customer segments for PARFOUR, of course, are the creators, but then it's the viewers. And from a viewer perspective, PARFOUR is golf on demand 24/7, right? And so it's like that is a way to differentiate against these other platforms that may have similar features, but ultimately are not specific to golf, which is what PARFOUR is owning.
Absolutely. Yep. And you hit the nail on the head, right? Like, I think a part of it, like if you segmented our app, it's creators, it's content creators, it's people who are learning golf, people who are good at golf. And then you have this whole side of like the tournament style, right? So you have like two different types, but they're all doing the same thing, which is playing and living in the idea of golf and golf content. Right. So, yeah, you hit the nail on the head.
Well, I think PARFOUR also just has the ability to give people who happen to be golfers, but give golfers a chance to become creators themselves, right?
Absolutely.
Like, there are a segment of people that are probably too fearful to post golf content on these bigger platforms, but within a community like PARFOUR that has built around the sport, there'll be a bunch of creators, I'm sure, that step out of their comfort level and start posting because it's amongst people that are interested in seeing that type of content.
Yeah. And I think it's going to be funny too, because I think we're going to see some creators that don't come over to PARFOUR because of the type of content they've created. And it's been very edited. We had a very big creator, I won't name drop him, but we talked to him and he was like, you're probably going to have people who don't use PARFOUR for that very specific reason, right?
Yeah.
And so I think it's really cool to think about the type of creator that's going to be in part one. It's going to be around the idea of that content creator, that normal golfer, that pro golfer. But I think golf, if you look at it now, has truly become based around, I want to say it's not about how good you are at golf anymore. It's about your personality. It's about your brand. It's what you have to offer to the viewer. And I think we're seeing a lot of that. I mean, we've had, like I said, one of the biggest content creators told me, look at people's roadmap for 2024 or 2025. Every single one of them has streaming in it, right? That is their goal. They want to connect to an audience that is right there in the moment. I can say hey to them. They feel special, right? Then you have another type of audience, which is the YouTube audience, right? The YouTube audience, little Jimmy could go on there and comment, and his comment could be lost in hundreds of thousands of comments. He'll never get heard. But if you come onto PARFOUR, stream with Busted Jack, and Mason says your name, he's going to go tell 10 of his friends at school that Busted Jack said his name, and he's going to come in and start with all of his buddies watching the stream, right? So you're now having a one-to-one connection with inside of that creator or that streamer that you've never had before through YouTube or Instagram or anything like that.
Well, you hinted at the evolution of golf as the sport, right? And I think, throughout a lot of my conversations, we've talked about how the sport is evolving, has evolved. You talk a little bit from your perspective how Par 4 plays into the evolution of the game, and in fact, helping to evolve the game as it's broadening viewership, as it's giving golfers a chance to be creators. Talk about the evolution of the sport and how Par 4 plays a part into it.
Yeah, so I think the creators side of like the evolution of where we're at today is completely different too, because I think that I don't know. Okay, let me ask you this question. I'm going to kind of turn the question on you. Where do you think content creators and streamers are today? Where do you think their future is with golf content?
I think historically it's been very much instructional, right? Like, watch me hit a ball, watch my swing. Obviously, there's been an element of entertainment recently in terms of these matches or tournaments with creators. But I think where Par 4 can kind of help evolve is it actually makes anyone a creator. Right. And I think there's a lot of value in that. And if you love the sport and you're not afraid to videotape yourself,
Yeah.
You become a creator, and you don't have to be the next big creator, but at least gives you that sense of being able to kind of show off what you're doing on a course, at a simulator, at a putt-putt course. I think it expands the places that golfers can become creators as well.
Yeah, I love that. That's so cool. And one more question, I guess, for you is because this is almost like feedback that we're looking for, and it's cool to ask you this in real time.
Yeah.
What do you think the glass ceiling is on something like YouTube creators, right? Like, we're seeing so many creators come into, we're seeing a ton of females come into the golf space. We're seeing a ton of young people come into the golf space. What does that look like, I think, in your perspective? And I'll give you my perspective, but do you think that that glass ceiling is going to be hit anytime soon?
No, I think it's going to continue to expand. I think, it's interesting, and I haven't seen this, but there's a creator, Ryan Toys, who I don't know if you're familiar with, but
very familiar.
He became famous maybe a decade ago, maybe not that long ago, but made millions. He was just unboxing toys, right? And his parents set up his account, like, as a case study on how to do it properly, because I think he ended up producing toys and whatever, But you think about him as a child, right? Obviously, the account was managed by his parents and done correctly, I believe. But I haven't seen a lot of child golf creators, right? And I think like that's an area that it could expand to. And so I don't see a glass ceiling. I think that the beauty of golf is it's ever evolving. So 15 years ago, traditional golf was really the only way to access it, but now there's so many different ways, whether it's simulators, whether it's Top Golf, whether it's night courses, whether it's putt-putt courses, and so there's a lot of, I think, evolution that's happening that opens up the aperture for creators to step in and become golf creators.
Yeah, absolutely. And so I agree with you 100%. The only caveat is I think we're going to see a different style of content. Right. I think that we're going to see, I think the ceiling of what YouTube can offer is at a different level, a different style. And I think that something like Par 4 gives them a different advantage or a different creator opportunity of a style with inside Par 4. And so that's where I'm like, okay.
Do you mean like that, like highly produced?
Yes, exactly. Right. Yeah. Like full on edited, full on. I have my graphics, my illustrator, my editor doing everything. This is more like raw, real, in the moment, but I still can take that content and do the high end editing piece of it, right? So it almost is like if it's like a a piece to what YouTube can create for that different content, right? It almost like brings it to a different level. So that's where I'm always thinking, like every morning when I wake up, I'm like, how do we get, my number one thought is how do we get users to PARFOUR, right? Like that's my number one thought, because it's very hard to take. We talked to a creator and they were like, well, I've already built a following on Twitch. Why would I come over to a new platform? And, you know, in our minds, we're like, well, why wouldn't you? It's ground level.
Yeah.
It's built for your content, built for your community. And I think the hard part too is when you think and look at content in general like this, people don't realize that it took TikTok 2 to 3 years for it to be even a known name. It took 4 years for it to be a household name.
Well, didn't it start as like Musically?
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah. It started off as just like music, and then it created more and more. It's almost like the OnlyFans idea, right? OnlyFans wasn't actually created for what it is intended today.
Yeah.
It evolved into that. But I think that, you know, how we look at it, and I'm biased maybe, but I look at it and I'm like, why wouldn't anyone want to be involved in this at their early stage? Why wouldn't they want themselves to be the face or the known? It's almost like the ninja of Fortnite, right? Everyone knows Fortnite, everyone knows Ninja. And so I think that is where I see, like, if I could just be like, take a creator, put him in a room, sit him next to me and be like, hey, just get on PARFOUR because it is the future of golf. We are just getting started. Like, there's so much potential, but it's hard for them because they're already making money and building a community somewhere else. So that is my biggest question that I wake up with every morning right now, which is how to get these creators to know that we're building this not just to become rich quick, but because we're building it for them, for their type of content, for their creation, but also we want to listen to what they want. Right. Like one of the creators we talked to, they even mentioned to us that they wanted a stream that was able to be one of their partners inside of the stream. So when you click on it, it takes it to them. It has their code already built into it and they're able to shop. Their users are able to shop. And it's like, we can build that. Guess who doesn't have that? Twitch, right? Like Twitch doesn't have. So that is the cool part, is like, we literally can build everything. We can build anything, just resources and time. That's the caveat, right? We can build anything. We're building this for the golf community, and we're building this in a way that truly is, as I said in the beginning, is going to change the way golf is played and viewed. So as you can tell, I get very passionate about this because it's like,
and it's actually, I think, a really nice segue, because passion is a trait that I think every entrepreneur needs to have in order for their business to be successful.
100%.
And you know, the goal of the range and this podcast is really to help other entrepreneurs with advice and an understanding of how successful entrepreneurs have taken their idea from 0 to 1. And so would love to transition to the part of the conversation where you know, you can offer up advice to other entrepreneurs, whether in the same space in terms of app development or even trying to come out with the next apparel line.
Yeah.
Golf related, you know, what are some pieces of advice that you'd want to share with other entrepreneurs?
Yeah, gosh, I'm still young. I'm still learning. I'm still soaking it in every freaking day. Number one, don't overpromise. I think that you get caught up in a lot of different conversations with people and things, and that, you know, you come in, you're like, yeah, we can do this, we can do that. You know, I'll give you this, I'll do this for you. And, you know, it's a humbling experience to learn that, like, I can't appease everybody. You're not going to appease everybody. And failure is okay. I know that's so cliche, but, like, you know, failure is perfectly fine because you learn from that. Number two, like I said, I think picking the right people. I didn't do that at first, and now I did. And I think having the right people on our team has made this so much more successful. You learn and you live. You can't live in the past, and that's okay. And I'm a better person for that. But I think picking the right person and making sure that you have legal counsel, you know what you're doing. You're not just chat GPTing and Googling everything, because that's not always going to solve the problem. I wish I did a little bit more due diligence when starting our company, and how you handle that and how you do that. So I think just being okay with failure, being resourceful, not overpromising, and make sure the right people on your side.
Yeah, I love that. And I think coming full circle from the beginning of the conversation, you know, we talked about your, you know, how you kind of grew out of the game as a child, had felt a lot of pressure, you know, thought it was more for your parents, and now you've started something in the golf industry from a business perspective. You know, talk about that community support both from your kind of immediate family and external friends and family, and how important that is to kind of keep you going and keep you pushing for success.
Yeah, so so my dad is probably one of my biggest supporters. Everything that he does, he knew, like, every time, I mean, he's on almost every stream that we do. He loves what we're doing and that we're doing it as brothers too. Like,
Yeah.
that's super cool to him. My mom has dedicated so much time of her life as I was younger to make sure that I had the best golf clubs, that we lived on a golf course. She, like, those two people literally, like, when people say, like, I wish I could just understand and give back to my parents what they gave to me, I think you don't realize that till you're older, right? Like, how much they sacrificed for you to do something that you love or that you want. And at the end of the day, it wasn't them actually pushing it down my throat. It was them being tough on me to be a better golfer.
Yeah.
And to me, as my P-minded brain thought as a teenager, I'm like, yeah, you want this for yourself, not me,
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
and so I wish I could thank them a billion times over and over for making me the person that I am, to, like, everything that I do and have lived through has been challenging, easy, hard, challenging, easy, hard. It's just a repeat process. But I think that, like, when you're in an environment where you have a supportive family, and same thing with my brothers, like, my brothers have tough love for me. They'll tell me, like, when to shut up, when to stop talking, when I'm doing something really good. It's very hard to work with your brothers, and they will also listen to this. But it is also so rewarding because they want the best for you, and they also want the best for what they're building and what they're a part of. I think community too, like, from friends, I've had some of the dopest friends just reach out to me and just be like, man, like, what can we do to help? I've had friends who literally, like, I'll go and do free sales for you. I'll go and do, like, whatever. And it's so cool. And that's also kind of another piece of, I guess, thing that I've realized is, like, you can't help everyone. Everyone can't be involved in what you're doing, and that's okay. But they're going to be the best part of it, which is your cheerleader, your support when you need this, as things get easy or tough. So I think, like, doing this without your family, doing this without your friends, doing without the people who are going to push you and support you because they know how much energy and love that you have. And then, like, my number one person that have supported me through all this is my wife. Like, the amount of time and dedication that I've had to put into this, the amount of hours. My wife gave birth to our son, Rowan. He's 9 months now. The first week after she gave birth, I literally was in LA launching PARFOUR. And the sacrifice that she had to make, that I had to make for that, like, you can't put words around it, right? And so I think that the support that your significant other brings to the table is the most important, because, like, I couldn't do this. I couldn't be talking to you right now if I didn't have that support and love. And, like, that shit's hard.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I think it's interesting because it's certainly a testament to the business, right? It's a testament to the idea, but I think you should take pride. It's also a testament to you, the person you are. I think oftentimes entrepreneurs are looked at as, just very focused on the business and not necessarily easy to be around or work with. And I think that's often false. And the support that you have around you is not just because of what you're building, but who you are. So I think you should definitely take pride in that.
I appreciate that a lot. That means a lot.
As we finish up, would love to ask a handful of rapid fire questions just to give the audience a sense of who you are, and then before we end, just give you a chance to tell the audience where to find PARFOUR and you, in case you want to engage. Sound
Absolutely. Good? Perfect. Let's do it.
Awesome. What is the favorite golf course you've ever played on?
Favorite golf course I ever played on was actually a golf course. I forget the name of it. Wow. It was in Arizona. I got to play last month. I went to the Waste Management, and it was probably one of the most beautiful golf courses I've ever played. If you ask me that after April 27th, my answer will change. But I truly think that was one of the prettiest, most, just, like, it almost just seemed unreal. I was like, this is a movie set. Like, why is there a mountain behind this hole? And this hole is so peaceful and graceful. And
how'd you shoot?
I shot pretty good, actually. I think I shot 12 over, 12 or 13 over. It was a tough course. We played tips in the elevation. I'm not used to that. In Florida, it's just, like, flat, right? Yeah. But it was gorgeous. It's in a community that has, like, 6 other golf courses. It was super freaking cool. And I've always heard Arizona golf is the best golf.
Yeah.
But I think I got a taste of it and I was like, dang, this is pretty sick.
That's cool. That's cool. What's the one piece of gear you can't live without on the course?
I cannot live without my golf glove. I rock a Titleist with the black circle on it, and I literally I would not play around if I didn't have a golf glove. It's my staple. I have a little couple weird things that I must have, or I must my shoes can't be too tight. I have to have certain socks that don't suffocate my feet. And I have little feet. I wear size 8, 7.5 sometimes, depending on the shoe. And so those are the things I have to have, are just good shoes that I can walk in. I mostly wear Nikes, Dunks, and then a golf glove. If I don't have those, I literally just don't feel like I'm prepared to play golf.
Interesting. What's your favorite drink and go-to snack during a round?
Favorite drink, if we're talking alcohol, a can of margarita.
Okay.
Mixed margarita. We have these at the Four Seasons. They're amazing. I get them every time. If not, a yellow Gatorade. That is must. And then Ritz crackers. Ritz peanut butter crackers are my go-to.
Nice. Last two questions. What's your proudest moment as a golf entrepreneur so far?
That's a deep question. Dang, that's a very deep question. I think the proudest moment was we had a phone call the other day with a very big creator, and she said the words exactly, PARFOUR is becoming a household name. You don't understand. People know who you are, and you don't know that they know who you are. And that they just gave me chills now. It gave me chills then. It's some of these biggest, probably athletes, even outside of the creator space, have probably heard about us. We have, really quick side note, my stepbrother, his name is Anders Albertson. He's on the PGA Tour, and we actually sponsor his bag. And he gets to tell people, spectators and people who play, he's the most people who ask about my bag are golfers and what it is. And so it's it is so cool to hear PARFOUR. I think yesterday we looked at our analytics. We've reached 56,000 accounts in the last month in PARFOUR.
That's awesome.
And so, again, it's that education piece that I think we really need to refine and teach people what PARFOUR is. But I think that's my proudest moment of just being we have done no spending, kid you not, probably less than $1,000 in marketing spend. And we have people know who we are because of our brand, because of our product. And I think that's the proudest thing about our product, and my team, could not be here without them. And they've made this possible for that to be a known name and hopefully a household name in the years to come.
That's awesome. And then last question, what's the biggest lesson the sport of golf has taught you about business?
So, I can just I don't have to second guess myself.
Yeah. I love that.
Patience. I think over the years, it's actually really kind of cool. I have been working on my golf swing, and literally last week I figured out something that just clicked. I don't have a baby fade anymore. I'm understanding my swing. I'm understanding my yardage. I'm hitting everything as pure as day. And it's actually funny. Patience translates into my swing. All I had to do was slow down my swing. I had to put my hands more in, and I slowed down my backswing and gave the power through that. And it's same thing with business. We want things done tomorrow. As a founder, as a CEO, you want things, I want it tomorrow. I want it now. My users want it now. And I think the more patient we have, the better the outcome that it provides. And I think that if you just slow your swing, if you slow your movement, the outcome of that hit, the outcome of that product will be so much better if you just have patience. And I think that's just the game of golf in general too.
I love it. I love it. Ethan, I really appreciate the time. Love learning about more about PARFOUR. I got to get over my fear and stream one of these bad rounds when I get out on the course. But give the audience where they could find you, how they could download the app, and just how they could get in touch with PARFOUR.
Absolutely. So we're PARFOUR app on everything. That's our handle on everything. And you can download the app in the App Store. You just search PARFOUR, one word, and both Android and iOS. And you can find us there. You can find us on Instagram. That's where we're most active, where we're talking to our community, giving updates, telling what's new. But yeah, also PARFOUR. Depending on when this will launch, I'll go ahead and say it. I don't care. If you go to parfour.com/scorecard, we have just launched a new way for you to actually create a mini scorecard that you can embed on top of your videos while you're editing and clipping. And you don't have to have an editor or a graphic designer do it. We do it all for you. So parfour.com/scorecard. Go ahead and check that out. If any feedback on that, let us know. But we're creating tools to better your life as a creator, as a golfer, and for you never to have to play golf alone.
That's awesome. Well, I appreciate the time, appreciate the conversation, and look forward to following along in Par4's journey.
Dude, thank you so much for having us on. Like I said, been a follower, been a listener, and just an honor to be on here and talk to you and spend some time with you. So thank you for the opportunity.
I appreciate it, Ethan, truly. All right, we'll be in touch.
Thanks.
Bye.